All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my We Love Comics channel. My name is Chris, and I have 4 more of my PGX books that have arrived back safe and sound. I guess we'll find out once we open the box, but the box looks pretty darn good. So I will assume the contents inside are just as well. For those of you who are new to my channel or new to my videos, I made a deal with PGX, and full disclosure, there are no contracts. I do not get paid by them. Everything I say is just my own personal experience. I did try and contact CBCS and CGC at one point, and to this day they never replied. But I made a deal with PGX in the sense of I do an advertisement, and I put a link to their website in my description. You can check out, and there's some discount codes as well. And in return, I can send 4 books in each month to get graded, pressed, dry cleaned, signature verification if need be, and I get them sent back to me where I don't know the grades until I open them and we discover them live together. These books came back in about 3 weeks. I do not pay for faster service. They do not give me any special privileges as far as the shipping is concerned, as far as speed is concerned. So one of the biggest things I see all the time from people who use some of the other grading companies, and it is true, but they say, well, we only use exclusive other companies because you can make the most money selling them. Now, one of the things I always tell my viewers is make sure what somebody else says applies to you. Or make sure you do your own due diligence. Because, let's give an example. Because I've been watching a lot of unboxing videos lately all over YouTube. So I'm not specifically calling out any one channel. I've seen this on several, and when I mean several, different channels where CGC books are taking 8 months to over a year to get your books back. Now, if you have a time-sensitive comic, let's say, for example, 11 months ago, that's probably around the time when the Scarlet Witch TV show came out, and you had the first appearance of the White Vision. So you're like, oh, let me get this book graded. I'll get it back and sell it for a premium. Well, me using PGX and their average return date seems to be under 30 days, I would have been able to send it in during the peak time and get a peak amount of money. Somebody that waits 11 months to get their book back, unless you spend extra money to get fast track, which now means you'll wait only 6 months, and that's provided if you're getting the pressing services done. By the time you get the book back, it's no longer hot. So will you be able to sell it for more just because it's a different label? Timing is everything when it comes to business. And this is something that I don't see any other channel, as far as I've seen, talk about. So, yes, CGC is the #1 grading company. And yes, they can sell for the higher prices. But that depends on the time sensitivity of a book. It also depends on if you've sent in an already signed book to CGC, who does not do signature verification, and it does come back with a green qualified label. Chances are, and I've shown many times, that you will not be able to get premium dollars for that, regardless of who graded it. So when it comes to grading companies, each person has a different purpose of why they're getting their comics graded. Do not fall into the trap of listening to somebody just because somebody or somebodies say something is the most popular or the most beneficial or the best. That does not mean that that may apply to you or your current situation. So please do your own research. I don't know how much I can stress that. All right, so we got the 4 boxes. We got the 1 box with the 4 comics in it. Let me put on the video camera the end of my rant. And I just want to say hello to the people in the live chat. If you have never been in the live chat before, come on in, enter the fun. We got Agu is here, Emrys is here, Daryl is here, Mighty Comics and Collectibles is here. He just did a video today about an awesome statue. That thing is amazing. It's a shame that the finger broke. But luckily, a little tiny thing like that, like you say, can be glued back on. It wasn't like the head. So go check out his channel and see this amazing statue he got. For me, I love those statues, but considering how delicate they are, I used to get those Fabergé Dragon series probably about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Maybe even longer than that, actually. Yeah, more like 15, 20 years ago. God, time flies. They were these crystal dragons from Fabergé, and then one day my house got robbed, and they decided to smash them on the ground. So after that, I was like, I'm never spending money on something like that again, because they're just too easily breakable. But hey, collect what you love. Raul is here. Alex is here. So we got 4 books. I do not know the grades. I will go over the price I paid for them. I will tell you the significance of the books. I will tell you what I predicted them to be, and we'll find out together what the grade actually is. So, like I said, keep in mind when it comes to selling your comics, and if you are selling your comics, this will apply, timing is everything. So if it takes you 11 months to get a book back, and again, that's not paying the extra, which means you have to spend even more money on your books to get fast track, which still means you're going to take 3 to 5 months. I've heard some say 6 to 7 months if they're using their in-house pressing service, which, by the way, I've heard some bad reviews about their pressings that actually have damaged books and lowered the grades than actually raised them. Timing is everything. So the fact that I got these books back in less than 30 days, and you'll see at least one of these, if not more, are time sensitive. By the time somebody gets the same book back 10, 11 months from now, it may not be worth as much as it was at that time. So, can you sell a CGC book, for example, for more money than others? That depends on the timing and the situation. So, I don't know how much I can... I mean, I'll get hate regardless of what I say, because I speak my mind, and these days it seems speaking your mind is a terrorist act. But there are a few that appreciate my advice, because I have nothing to gain or lose on what you do with your books. I am not about to give people what I feel is true misinformation by just saying because a company is the best, that means they're the best for you. Please do your own research. If the few that are the CGC lovers, and I have nothing against CGC. If you've seen my collections, I have plenty of CGC books. So it's not like I hate them or anything. But when it comes to business, each company is going to vary, and can vary in the same company for you depending on your reasons and motivations. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, so these are mostly modern books. Actually, they're all modern books. So these should all be pretty decent high grades. But we'll find out. So if you want to be kind enough to hit that like button, please do. Oh, and also, there is a benefit of me doing PGX for you guys if you're interested in ever using them. Because of my calling Daniel Patterson, and shout out to Daniel Patterson, he does watch my videos from time to time, I got him to put the graders notes in the back of the comics on the slabs, if you want them. $5 gets you the actual grading notes on the back of your slab. I like that because if I sell a book, it shows the person who's buying it what's wrong with it. So they don't have to guess, or they may never find out. If you use the code WeLoveComics Graders Notes, you will be able to do that for $5 per slab if you want them on the back of the slab. Also, if you send 10 or more books to PGX and you use the code WeLoveComics Free Press, they will press one of your comics absolutely free. So the link to PGX and the discount codes are in the description, so go check them out. Give them a try. Because like I said, it depends on the reasons. So without further ado, let's get into the first book. Alright, so the first book, I bought these when they first came out. I was telling people to get this book. I remember I was giving some of these away in the comic book mystery boxes, which I still sell. So check the link in the description for that as well. But this is Darth Vader number 3. I have 2 of the variants, the 1 in 25 variants that I sent to CGC back in the day, before I even knew about pressings, and they both came back 9.8s. So I bought these around the same time. This is the regular cover. This, of course, is the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. So I paid a grand total of $3.99 for this book. I have probably at least 2, if not 3 more copies of the regular covers. So even if this came back a 9.0, I would still make out even a 5.0, but it's not going to be. I said any new book, I say between 9.4 and 9.8, because you never know. One of the biggest mistakes I see from people that look at comics, like they'll think they get a 9.8 and they get a 9.6, and they'll be like, and I'm not going to look at the grade. They're like, oh, I don't see anything wrong. They look at the cover for 2 seconds. They look at the back for 2 seconds. Say, oh, I can't not believe this is only a 9.6. Well, I hate to tell most of the people out there about this because they don't seem to know. There are things inside the book, too, called pages. And those pages, if page 17 has a little bend and you didn't look, well, that will lower the grade. So what frustrates me the most of many channels is they'll take a look at the cover, they'll look at the back for literally 8 seconds and say, I cannot believe this isn't a 9.8. Now, if you guys know me, I don't care. I would love to get a 9.8, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world. I don't care. Because like I said, I bought these for $3.99. It can come back at 0.5, I'll make money on it. So it's all about timing, and I try and stress that to people all the time. So I paid $3.99. I predicted 9.4 to 9.8 with white pages. I do recommend getting your books pressed and dry cleaned. That is exactly what they did. So let's see where we start out. All right, what is that? Oh, there we go. So a 9.8. So very happy with this. I bought all of these at the same time. I bought the 125 variants as well from the same seller. So I'm sorry. I bought these raw. And all 3, I think I said 3 or 4 of them. I bought these all from the same seller. They were perfect. Jesus, it's been too long. I bought these from the comic book store. All 3 at the same time, or 4. It's either 3 or 4. And I bought the 2 1 and 25 variants online from the same person. They both came back 9.8 CGC. I still have them. And they were never pressed. So how amazing would that be if I sent them to get pressed and they get a 9.9? But let's not go crazy. Does have white pages, which pretty much is a given with newer books. So Darth Vader number 3, 9.8 at $3.99 plus the shipping cost. It cost me to get this graded, so that averages out to about $5. So under $10 for a 9.8 Darth Vader 3. I think I'll make money on that, even though it's not CGC. All right, so next up, what do we got? We have, okay, one of my many Ultimate Fallout 4s. I cannot stress enough, even if you do not own this book, it is a must-have. I've been telling people for years, obviously if you haven't been watching for years, that doesn't mean anything to you. But if you think this book is expensive, wait until they do a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. If you don't think they're going in that direction, you're not paying attention to woke Hollywood. This is something I have seen since 2016 was coming. That's why I bought like 12 copies. So I don't know the exact price because I bought some at $10 and some at $12. And that was before I was writing prices on them. So I'll just assume I paid the higher price for this for $12. This is, of course, the first print. You could tell because you cannot see the face of Miles Morales. The second print shows him exposed. So if you cannot afford the first print, get the second print, or the second print variant is another one. But this is a must-own book. I was telling people for years because I just know how Hollywood works. I paid, like I said, I'm going to say I paid 12 because it could have been 10. So I'll just stay on the high end. I predicted a 9.2 to a 9.8. Now, the reason I say that is, even with a pressing, it doesn't guarantee, because if this is absolutely a book you have to get pressed. This was in the original bag it came in, and I sent it that way. Now, a lot of times what will happen is there'll be a little crease on the back that may sometimes be so light you can't see it. So if you are going to get any book pressed, this is an absolute pressing must-do for this book. Now, that crease does not ever break color, but if it leaves a little indent, it's going to lower the grade. That's why you see a lot of these get 9.0s, 9.2s, 9.4s. As a matter of fact, I think I've sent in about 4 of these books, and I've gotten one that was, I think, a 9, another one was a 9.6, and another was 9.4. So I have yet to get a 9.8, but I still have 2 or 3 more of these that I will send in eventually. So I paid a total of $12. That's why I did the range of 9.2 to 9.8, because depending on the pressing, this grade can vary. So let's see what we got. Oh, and there it is. Finally, my 9.8 Ultimate Fallout 4. This, I am so happy to finally have it. Like I said, most of them were 9.6s. I think one was a 9.0, but that wasn't an original one I bought. That was one that was a green label CGC book that had a signed that I won on eBay. So to get this finally in a 9.8, I have a 1 in 25, 2 of the variant covers. I sold one years ago, which I regret doing, but hey, you know, I still have at least 1, if not 2. But I'm very happy about this. So first appearance of new Spider-Man Miles Morales, white pages, of course, and you can see there are no graders notes. They usually don't have anything when it comes to 9.8, because 9.8 is pretty much almost perfect, which means it can have the minor little flaw, and it will get a 9.8. But very happy with this. 2 for 2 so far. All right, so we got 2 more to go. Next up. Okay, this is a book, Moon Knight #1, that I bought probably about 5 years ago, because I was getting information from inside sources that Moon Knight was going to be coming. Remember, I was telling people years ago to get those, the Morbius covers, the ones with Morbius and the Ghost Rider. I forget the name of it at the moment, but they were bad comics, and I was saying they were going to be coming eventually, which they have rumored already to happen. I could have sworn I had another one of these, but I cannot find it. It's got to be somewhere. But this is Moon Knight #1. Now, this is what I'm talking about, time sensitive. I sent this in 30 days ago, so it came back before the TV show. If somebody sent this in last month to CGC, by the time it gets back, it may not be as relevant as it is now. So timing is everything. But it will not matter the grade on this book, but this book was beautiful. I was selling this at my flea market for $100, and nobody wanted it. This is a high-grade book. I paid a total of $13.49. Now, I said it was about an 8.5 to 9.2. I am horrible when it comes to graders notes. When it comes to grading higher stuff, because most of my stuff is lower grade, so it's a little bit of a higher range, and that's also before pressings. So let's see what we got. It's definitely not a 9.8, but let's see how close we said. So I said with white pages, 8.5 to 9.2. I paid $13.49. Survey says. All right, so there we go. It's in the range that I said, 8.5 to 9.2. Most of the quote-unquote damage on this was pressable defects. And that's why I cannot stress enough that to get your books pressed. Now, would I have loved a 9.8? Sure. Am I disappointed with a 9.2? Not when I spent $13.49 on the book. So I can definitely sell this. And this, I mean, look at the back of this book. It's probably hard to see, but there are no stains. This is a beautiful cover. But like I said, about an 8.5 to 9.2. They said, okay, so this does have some greatest notes. It says several stress lines along the spine, slight edge wear. So that's why it got a little bit lower grade. But other than that, this book presents really well. Very happy with a 9.2. And it does have white pages. So I've actually been getting good with at least the page count. For $13, I'll take that all day, every day. All right, so last but not least, another time-sensitive book. So I sent this in less than 30 days ago. There are now pretty much confirmed rumors that the Illuminati are going to be in the Doctor Strange. I mean, they basically did the voice of Patrick Stewart from Professor X. So if you sent this in a month ago, 2 months ago, 5 months ago, and you don't get it back for another 3 or 4 months from now, well, you're probably going to miss out on this. So this is a signature series book. This is New Avengers number 7. This is the first appearance of the Illuminati. I bought this on eBay for $44.84. So this could be a 9.2, and I would make out. This was signed by Brian Michael Bendis. I predicted about a 9.6 to 9.8. Normally I say 9.4 to 9.8, but this one looked too good to even go down to a 9.4. So in my opinion, this is a minimum of 9.6, because this book was beautiful, and the pressing was just going to make it that much better. So there is the signature. If you would have sent this in the CGC, you'd get it back a green label. So let's see if we finish strong. Survey says, and there we go. So this was signed by Brian Michael Bendis. First appearance of the Illuminati. Sentry Wrecker and Maria Hill appearance. Paul Jenkins cameo on last page. And has white pages. Like I said, when I saw this book, that's why normally if you watch my videos, I usually say with a higher graded book, 9.4 to 9.8. This one was, I mean, you can't say perfect because then it would be a 10. But definitely I would have been shocked if it would have been less than a 9.6. But hey, you never know. Things could get damaged in the mail. A box could get dropped. So you could send a book that you think is a 9.8. And here's another thing. If you're waiting 11 months, that means your books are compacted in a box. Who knows how many boxes are stacked on top of them? Who knows the weather conditions and the temperature control of the rooms that they store them in? Who knows if they didn't move them or toss them around or get dropped? So even if you send a book in that you think is a 9.8, if you're taking, especially if you send it to CGC, for example, and you go to send it to the area where they have to get it pressed, you're waiting 3 or 4 months there, and it's in storage, and then they have to box it up again and put it into the other department. There's a lot of chances that things can get damaged. You got to think about these things. So the faster the turnaround, the better chances of things like that not happening. The signature was verified. PGX does signature verifications. So as you can see right here, you may not be able to see it, but it says signed by Brian Michael Bendis, and also it's got a different label, and it says the PGX Signature Series. So they do verify them. So I would have to say, this is probably one of my better, if not best, as far as grade-wise, of all, considering I paid for all of them. Let's combine it. 44, 57, 61, 70. So let's say $75, and it cost me $20 to ship it. So $85 in total was spent for a 9.8 white pages Ultimate Fallout 4 first print, for a Darth Vader 3 first print, all with white pages, New Avengers number 7, first Illuminati signed, and the quote-unquote worst book was the 9.2 Moon Knight number 1. And this has the first Moon Knight in his own title, Origin of Moon Knight, but they did not mention, I think it's the first not Bushmaster, the first of the God. They didn't write that on there, but people will know what it is. So I could easily sell those 2 books because the movie and TV shows have not come out yet. So me sitting around hoping my books will arrive in 7 months, you're going to watch the prices go down and down and down. So timing is everything. So I will have to say I am totally amazed by these. Sending in newer books, you're more likely to get higher grades. I mean, the reason I think the Moon Knight, I mean, that was from 1980, so that's actually a Copper Age book. That's not considered modern. But the others, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer that you're going to get a 9.8 unless there's a situation where there's just a book that, you know, because remember, even if you buy a book brand new in the comic store, somebody might have read through it. You know, some people go flipping through the books looking for the best one. They could bend the corners when they do that. Or just placing it into the rack. Part of the bottom could bend. So there's a lot of different factors. Nothing is guaranteed, but that's one of the reasons why I say, no matter who you get your books to be graded, get them pressed. It's worth it. Especially that Ultimate Fallout 4. This is the first 9.8 I've gotten out of the 3 or 4 that I sent in to get graded that were from my original batch I had left over. I think I still have 2 more of them, and they're still in their original bags. So eventually I'm going to get those sent out, but very happy to have a 9.8 on that one. Especially paying $12 for it. So, let me see. Signed by Art Adams. Schwapps for Comics says, got some books I need signature verified. We'll have to consider sending them soon to PGX. Well, remember also CBCS also does it. But again, time is money. So I got these books back in less than 30 days. I did not spend any extra money for fast tracking or anything. This is their regular time that they send books back. I get no special privileges when it comes to that. And 2 of those books are very time sensitive, especially since the Moon Knight show is coming out in a couple of weeks. And the same thing with the Doctor Strange movie. So by the time most people are going to get their other books back from those other companies, the value will have dropped probably 10 to 20, maybe 30%. So are you really selling it for more? Again, think for yourself. Don't just follow the herd mentality. Just because something works for them does not mean it's going to work for you. So hopefully my videos will explain things to you in a way where you take more responsibility. Nothing wrong with hearing other people's opinions. But if you base it just solely on fact, you know, you're risking your books from not making the profit that you deserve. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think this was a great unboxing. Very happy with these overall, but I'd love to hear what you have to think. So if you want to leave a comment when this video uploads, I'd love to see it. I read every comment. And let's pick today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. And again, if you go into the description of this video, if you send 10 or more books to PGX and use the code WeLoveComicsFreePress, they will press one of your books for free. And if you want the greatest notes on the back, which, by the way, if you get a 9.8, there's usually not going to be greatest notes, so they're not going to charge you, even if you said, you know, here's the $5. They're good that way. They've actually called me when a book, before I made the deal with them, and I first started using PGX back in the days, like 2016, 2017, they actually called me to tell me that a book didn't even need to be pressed and didn't charge me. So they're not all about just making the most money. They're about good customer service. Whether you've had a good reputation with them depends on your own personal experience. I'm just sharing mine. So the 2 surprise subscriber shout-outs today go to Captain Kirk Productions and Digital Bobby. Both of you are today's surprise subscriber shout-outs, which means you don't have to be a subscriber, but if you want to hit subscribe, I'd love to have you. But if you have a YouTube channel, you could post the link in the comments section to either a video or a link to your channel itself. If you don't have a YouTube channel and you have social media, first of all, why are you still on it these days? It's ridiculous. But if you have it and you want to share a link to one of your social media outlets, you can do that instead. Or if you don't have that, which means you're a smart man or woman, and you have maybe stuff you sell on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, any of those places, and you'd rather send a link to one of your auctions or one of your sales, you can post the link instead. I'll leave that up to you. Just keep in mind, any link first has to be verified, so even when you hit enter, it will not display on the comment section until I approve it. This keeps any porn sites from trying, and they try, to post links on my channel and somebody click on something inappropriate. So if you see a link in the comment section, it means it has been approved. So go give them a shout out, go give them a subscribe, and tell them We Love Comics sent you. So thank you so much to the people that watched, and especially the people in the live chat, to the 20 people that hit the like button. I tip my invisible hat to you. And I got another 4 books that I'm going to be sending out in the next couple of days, so I'll be doing a video in the next day or two, so stay tuned. And give PGX a try if you haven't. You know, as they say, don't believe the hype. Do your own research, do your own due diligence, and base things on your own experience. That's one of the reasons why I do this live. I've been doing this live almost every month, going on 4 years now. Not once has any case ever been cracked. Not once has any box ever been, you know, unprotected. And maybe 4 books. Now you're talking 4 books every month for over 4 years. 4, maybe 5 grades were suspect. I think that's pretty good odds. But you believe what you want and you watch what you want. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm rambling at this point. Give our shout-outs a shout-out. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll see you next video. Hasta la vista, baby.